Battle of Hastings, the defining battle that shaped the face of medieval England into what we know it today. Hello, my name is Brandon Townsend, and today we'll be talking about the Battle of Hastings and an important role it had to play on the young country of England. With many years of interest in this time period and a few good hours of studying on this subject, will allow me to guide you through this moment within history. This moment plays a pivotal piece in history for the overall history within the world. It might even help during a trivia night. Before I begin, some of the main key points that we're going to look into is the key players within the battle itself, and the aftermath of the battle. Let us begin. Over here on the left, we have William the Conqueror. He's the king of the Normans, which is the northern lands of France during this time. He'll be fighting to become the new king of England, which he has claimed to from the previous king that had just recently passed. However, his claim was not much. In the article William I the Conqueror, accessed on 10/17/2020, states that Edward the Confessor, the recently deceased king of England, had promised him the throne, him being William. Over on the left, we have Harold Godwinson. He is the present king of England after the Confessor's death. Godwinson held the most legitimate claim to the throne, holding the most land within England, more so than the king before him, and was a close vassal to the king of England who had just recently passed. These two contending against the throne would set up the stages for the battle and the war to come. On October 14, 1066, a ferocious and deadly battle between Harold Godwinson and William the Conqueror would soon start. Godwinson and his Saxon armies were skilled infantrymen perfecting the art of the shield wall. William and the Normans were equally as skilled infantrymen. However, they perfected their art of war on the horseback. Godwinson, exhausted, and with his army, held the strategic high ground on top of the hill. The battle lasted throughout the day in a bloody stalemate. However, as the battle raged on, the Norman lines began to waver. The Saxons would soon follow the Normans as they retreated, breaking their deadly line of the shield wall. According to Ellen Castrol and the article The Battle of Hastings, accessed on 10/17/2020, tells us, once their carefully organized formations were broken, the English, or the Saxons, were vulnerable to cavalry attack. This, paired with Godwinson's unlucky killing blow during the rout, made a devastating blow to the morale in the Saxon army itself. Upon Godwinson's death and the killing of his bodyguard, the Saxon army began to retreat, giving victory to William the Conqueror. During this time, it was known for kingdoms to only have one main army, so once you destroyed that main army, the kingdom was pretty much yours. Upon taking the throne, William wiped clean the aristocracy of the Saxons that held England at the time and restructured it to what we know it today. According to Mark Cartwell in the article The Impact of Normans' Conquest of England, published on January 23, 2019, after William's conquer, he changes and starts feudalism within England. The Motte and Baileys were introduced. the important intertwining of French and English lands. This is what most people think of when they think of the English medieval times. So the knights and castles of the English period. So let me bring us back around. The key players, the battle itself and the aftermath will give you a better idea of how the Battle of Hastings played a pivotal role within history and the formation of England itself. And before I conclude, I would like to end with a quote from the famous writer David McCullough, accessed on 10/17/2020 on the website goodreads.com, stating, "History is a guide to navigation in perilous times. History is who we are and why we are the way we are." Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Why was Godwinson and his army exhausted?
Great question. This question is, why was Harold Godwinson and his army exhausted during the Battle of Hastings? Is that correct? Okay. So before the battle, there was another person who had claim throne to the King of England, and he had landed just north of London. So Harold Godwinson and his army marched 250 miles north of London and fought the invading army from Norway. 2 weeks after that battle, the Normans landed in the south of England and marched over 300 miles to meet the Normans where they fought the Battle of Hastings. Does that answer your question? Is there any other questions?
In your own opinion, how would you imagine England?
Great question. So your question is, how would have England would have been shaped, in my own opinion, if this battle was won by Godwinson? Okay, great question. It would have given I have it. Hold on. Aristocracy within England would have continued to be Anglo-Saxon. The cavalry force within England would have never strived, and that gave advantage to England when it conquered lands throughout Europe. So I believe England would have not have grown to the massive empire that we would know prior of this 19th century. So it plays a huge effect.
Good job, good job. All right, excellent.
No.